pass from Havili was magic. The shift on for Crotty. Boom, far down you go, Quackett Smith. Me, oh my, I have enjoyed that. Yes, boy.
Sit back, relax, put your belt on, enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Draft Rugby Show. I'm your host, Kargi, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, brothers Harry and Nelson, to talk some rugby and some fantasy rugby. Gents, rugby's back. Stands awesome. With our draft order just in, hot off the press, and our draft coming up on Thursday night. Is there truly a better time to be alive? There's a lot going on, a lot to talk about. How are we feeling?
Mate, I'm pretty happy. I mean, it's been the first time in the last couple of years that, you know, we're one round into Super Rugby and I haven't lost any fantasy yet. So
kudos to you. Well,
he still didn't make top four though.
Yeah, and I got fifth. But both of you guys are below me, so
yeah, it's all right. The random allocation, I've got no problems. When we've got our wooden spooner picking first this year, that means I consider
it doesn't count, does
I
it?
consider myself fifth pick.
Yeah, and I consider myself fourth. I'm happy with top four.
Yeah, it's good.
And look, I can't be sure, but Harry, I believe you almost gave me a guarantee that with your team you randomly got allocated that you were definitely going to come last in our draft order. And I think, did you even say that if you didn't, you just swap position with me? I think I remember something like that. Or
you did not say anything of the sort. I said you could have swapped pre-game, but you didn't want to because you realised I had the worst looking team in the world. But
yeah, okay. So look,
thankfully, somehow my team of bums really lifted.
They did. And whilst I wasn't as excited as you guys for Isaiah Parisi to be in my team, he certainly served me really well. So
just a bit of a thing for everyone who hasn't read it. We just did a Super Six format for this, so you got one in every sort of category of positions: one front rower, one lock, one back rower, randomly allocated. And Craig's his highlight was Parisi, who got a red card, minus 20 points. That's not too good.
And I would just like to point out, I'm pretty sure it was about 5 minutes before that Nelson said, you just watch, he could be a Wallaby this year. He's going to get over Dungunu.
No, I didn't say this year. I said
end quote.
No, I'm excited more for him than Dungunu. We all know how good Dungunu is.
No, but anyway, it was a good night. We got all the OG League draft members together. Well, almost all, except for the spoon. Watched both games. And look, I touched on it before. How awesome was Stan? Just a breath of fresh air into rugby in Australia, and that broadcasting was awesome.
Yeah, they show you put a little bit of effort in, and it actually pays off. You know, they had tripled the viewer numbers than we did with the same match last year. So a little bit of effort, free to air, makes a big difference. Still a long way to go, but you know, with that performance, I think we'll get some bigger numbers moving forward.
Exactly. Very exciting. And like getting check. I mean, we've got the rugby, what is it called? Rugby Heaven?
Yep. Rugby Heaven tomorrow.
Coming up. Yeah.
Midweek show, which will be great. But mate, let's get into the meat and veg. I'm keen.
Sure. I was going to say those viewer numbers, it'll be close. Rugby Heaven and the Draft Rugby Show, like, you know, they'll be head to head, but we'll keep that battle going. So look, if like us, you were still to draft or newly listening to the pod, do yourself a favor and go back and check out last week's initial draft preview podcast. Where we discussed, you know, all the best players in each position, value increases, value drops, the VOLP, things like that, everything you needed to know for your draft. And before that, we also did a standalone episode, Super Rugby AU preview and a Super Rugby Aotearoa preview. Particularly that draft podcast last week, Harry has broken down conveniently into little sections in videos for each position and whatnot, and they were very well received last week. So if you haven't checked them out, do yourself a favor. You'll get them on YouTube. Like, subscribe, leave comments, do all those things that tick the metrics.
Yeah, big thing from Harry there is bite-sized videos. I think that's great. I think that's really what we should have been doing from the get-go. So moving forward, that's going to be a good source of info for us. You don't want to have to listen to Craigs for too long.
That's true. No, we listened to the audience, and Harry's spent double the time editing the videos this week to put them into bite-sized pits.
Basically, just double the time spent. That's good. Love it.
How good. All right, and we look. Our draft is on Thursday night. We'll put up our draft spreadsheet, like our template for how we use it, same as we did last year. I know we got a lot of people that use that, but yeah, let's get into the pod for tonight, though. So for entree, we're going to look at Super Rugby AU Round 1, talk about those games. For main course, we're going to preview Draft Rugby Round 1, which is Super Rugby AU Round 2 and Super Rugby Aotearoa Round 1 combined. For dessert, we are going to revisit the work rate players from 2020. So I'm not quite sure why we're doing this, giving away all these secrets to our fellow OG League draft members days before the draft. But look, certainly the players that once you get from a few down from those top picks, the ones that really are going to bring you some value. So the workmen, if you will.